Hi friends, today is the day before Easter. I have been inside practically all day, just kind of getting my kitchen together prior to market season. I do sell a bunch of sourdough goodies at markets, so I wanted to make sure that my kitchen was, you know, down pat clean, got the oven cleaned out, which was really nice. But there are some things on my to-do list for my garden. So yesterday, without the camera, I took my shoes off, got my feet in the dirt, and really started working in the garden. Really for the first time this season, actually like cleaning things out, reorganizing, and kind of just making some changes that I think will make the garden just that much better this season. So I think a couple weeks ago I had said that I was not going to be adding any more beds. That was prior to getting an extra yard approximately of soil from the company that I ordered from. So in lieu of having extra soil, and just kind of how things have been playing out so far this year, I have added in some more gardening spaces. So the other day with my sister, I picked up a Smart Pot. If you guys are not familiar, Smart Pots are a US based fabric pot, based here in the US. Actually, I think I have one right here. Yep. So, little fabric pots. They are good for air pruning of roots. Not all of my fabric pots are Smart Pots, but I do have a few that are. This one is I think it's a gallon pot. This is really good for herbs. But I was at a local farm store and like garden center by my sister, and I got this ginormous, I think it's like a 3-foot diameter round fabric pot. So I'm going to be filling that guy up, not today because the weather is questionable. So the plan for today is to make a potato tower. So I saw this on, maybe it was on YouTube, here on YouTube. I don't know. I am going to do this, but with some slight variations. Together we planted out, in this wooden bed that I'm sitting next to, some lettuces, carrots, which the carrots are not going to be ready for Easter. They're just now starting to get their true leaves, which is totally fine. So yesterday I was moving around a bunch of soil, trying to figure out what I was doing, going to make changes and the such. This wooden bed next to me really needed a top dressing of compost. When I got my compost, I'd already planted it out. So I'm gonna let a good portion of this bed stay kind of depleted in soil. I'm gonna make sure that I keep enough soil tarped up so that when these things are ready to be harvested, I can just go ahead and top dress this bed and get it filled, because it has dropped a lot since I initially filled it. I did end up filling it with some of that compost, and we're gonna put a potato tower here. I'm doing the potato tower simply because I want to be able to grow it vertically, giving me more room to plant more vegetables this year. So I think in the video that I saw, and I wish I would have taken note of it, I would link it down below. I am going to use chicken wire, because that's what I have, and some T-posts, which I do believe I have 2 T-posts. If I don't, we'll make something else work. We're gonna use that, some of the compost, as well as all of the leaves that I used for leaf mulch to cover my beds over the winter. We're gonna use that to make that lasagna layer, so that those potatoes have a little bit more room to grow. And yeah, so the seed potatoes that I'm gonna be using this year are Kennebec, Yukon Gold. Both of those varieties were ones that I had purchased from that local seed garden center, as well as a bunch of little purple seed potatoes that I saved from harvesting last year. They're all very much ready to grow. So let's go grab our supplies and get this seed potato tower. Seed potato tower? Or potato tower? Let's call it the potato tower. I'm gonna get this potato tower up. Hopefully before it rains, which we might have gotten lucky. Here's our chicken wire. Forgot we also got T-posts. So my plan is to go ahead and plant about 4 or 5 seed potatoes per layer. And I want it to kind of fill out this space right here. I'm gonna put it on this side because this is something that I'm not gonna be harvesting on as it grows. I'm going to be waiting until it is fully matured, and then I'm gonna be harvesting everything at once. So I'm gonna put it in the other side of my bed because it's a little harder to reach over there. I want my easy access stuff to be on this side, and we'll keep the potatoes on this side. So we've gotta kind of figure out how big to make this. I tried grabbing the smallest piece of chicken wire I have because I don't really want to use a ton of compost. So maybe something in that area. I would say it's about 1.5 feet around. So I'm gonna grab my wire cutters. These are super rusty, but we're gonna make them work. I'm gonna do about there. Oh yeah, these are perfect. So this is gonna take a minute. Got a wheelbarrow of compost. My neighbor actually was super nice and she caught me yesterday while I was working outside and basically was like, I have a wheelbarrow for you. And so I gave her back the dolly that she let me borrow, and she gave me this beautiful wheelbarrow to use. So once I am finished using it, I will definitely be giving it back to her. But it is definitely a lot easier than what I was doing before. So we've got a wheelbarrow of compost, some zip ties, wire cutters for cutting the chicken wire. We got a pile of leaves, our seed potatoes. Just need to grab some chicken wire real fast. Okay, so we've got this size picked out. What I think I'm going to do, because this is going to be kind of difficult to plant if I go ahead and close it up now, I'm going to leave it open, and as I plant up the layers, I'll go ahead and zip tie it closed. So I'm going to try to keep this in the very corner. Dogs are growing crazy. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this in the very corner. I am going to go ahead and actually plant some seed potatoes in the soil right here. course, there's a spider in my potatoes. I don't know which ones are which when it comes to these guys. Buddy, you're gonna be so much happier out here. I think he came out. Okay, so I've got not very many of these. And again, I don't know which ones are which from the Yukon and the Kennebec. Kennebec are more of like a baked potato. And I've planted them before and had good success. So I'm gonna go ahead and try them again this year. And then I have an entire bucket of seed potatoes from last season that have just kind of been sprouting in my basement. So what I think I'm gonna do is plant some of these purple potatoes in the soil. So I have a basic idea of how big that is. Do probably about this. I'm gonna keep these on the perimeter so that they have somewhere to sprout out to. And I have a bunch of potatoes, so here's hoping that we get a good harvest on these this year. I'm gonna go ahead and bend this back to how it should be. Grab T-posts. The T-posts are really just here to help keep these guys upright. So one right there, and we'll do one on the other side. Go ahead and secure the bottom portion of these down. These are just some zip ties that I had lying around. They just so happen to be outdoor zip ties. Right. I guess I can secure those all the way up. And I actually think that once these guys are, well, at least once it's warm enough outside, I think I might try to plant some sunflowers at the very top of this tower. I think that would be really cool. Make extremely tall sunflowers without actually growing, you know, large varieties of sunflowers, like a giant sunflower or mammoth sunflower. All right, we are cooking. so excited for this. Okay, so what we've got to do is I'm gonna try to bending this top portion back just a little bit so it's not hitting me in the face. And we're going to put about, I don't know, 5 inches of compost down. We're gonna close this guy up on the sides with our zip ties. I'm gonna add a good layer of mulch, which is just gonna be our leaves. And then let's zip tie one more time. I need to grab more compost. I'm gonna plant some potatoes here and then add another layer of compost in. All right. Be right back with some compost. All right, friends, it is starting to rain. I'm going to go ahead and get my stuff packed away so that my camera doesn't get wet and so all of the seed potatoes don't get wet, because I don't know if I'm gonna get to planting all of them today. I am gonna try to finish this, maybe. We'll see how heavy the rain gets. But I just wanna say thank you guys so much for joining me on another experiment in the garden. I'm really excited about this one. It looks really cool from afar. I will go ahead and add a clip of it finished at the end of this video. But if you guys want to watch any of my other content, I'll go ahead and pop a video up here for you guys to enjoy until then. But I will see you guys in the next one. Happy gardening, happy Easter, and I hope you guys get to spend some time with some of your loved ones.